just the way we are. And I think we're live. So let's
And we
see.
are. Welcome,
Um,
everyone.
hey everyone.
My
Let's
lighting looks
see.
really weird today.
My lighting is all. That's a whole other thing I've got to work on. But it is what it is. So
It could just be
okay.
me since I have a sinus infection, but
So I'm trying to see if I can see myself live, so I can see who it is. Let me go to Daniel. If you are here and you see us live, make sure as we give people a few minutes to drop in. But to yes. Um, but yeah, if you guys drop your, let us know where you're listening from. Share your locations. Drop
Adrian,
Adrian. So looking for the events. I can find it. There we are. We're
I'm
live.
live from the
Um,
Seattle.
I am live from very cold Baltimore. We hit a 19 degrees tonight or today or what yeah, just just not just not good in my book. That we can't have that. So okay, perfect. So I see us live. I'm looking at my phone, watching us live. So that way I can have it all. So welcome everyone. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into it. Of course, there is a replay. Feel free to share this live with your audience and on LinkedIn as well. Shell's hair is looking great, so that's wonderful. My hair is always up in a bun. Um,
Today was
pretty
a hair
much.
wash day, so it's always better on a hair wash day.
That's going to happen this weekend. Maybe too TMI for everybody, but yes, washing my hair is like washing. It's probably the thing that Shell probably and I have in common. It's like it's a whole it's a whole ordeal for me. It's not an easy one and done. We can be done. So there's Meryl. There's Adrian. So we're just gonna get Mr. Simpson. He is actually asleep on the bed. He had a little. I don't know. I don't know if we call it a snack. I think it's a snack because he'll probably want dinner at like 7 o'clock. So we are going to end a little early tonight, so probably about 6:40 ish. Just some scheduling things, just to give it. We'll mention this at the end too. Next week we are off. Selfish reasons. I'm going to Tampa, and I'm escaping this cold weather in Baltimore.
Good
I
for
was
you.
actually supposed to be leaving tomorrow for Honduras. Obviously, that's not happening. Honduras got pushed back to closer to looking like July. So working on that, getting that rescheduled, some changes in the schedule, travel issues, things of that nature. So, yeah, since I was supposed to be in Honduras, I just decided, well, I'm going to go to Tampa for a few days. So on that note, today's topic. What is today's topic? So, really, today's topic is really about becoming a LinkedIn rock star. And of course, for those, we'll do our introductions for the people that catch this on the replay. Also, I want to say too, if you do see this on the replay, we'd love for you to just tag us and mention that you're catching the replay as well. So that would be great. That way we can kind of see you after the fact. You can always just mention watch replay. That's always helpful as well. And so, Shell, introduce yourself for those that are going to be joining us or watch on the replay, and we'll get started.
Yeah, hey everyone. I'm Shel Shapiro. I am a LinkedIn engagement specialist, and what this means is that I help people engage better on the platform. I do it almost exclusively with health and wellness enthusiasts, but of course, that could be a whole lot of people who are just on a wellness journey, right? You don't have to be a wellness or health expert to be considered an enthusiast. So, really, I work with people who are wanting to be more excited to engage, who want to think of LinkedIn not as work, but as actual fun conversations and opportunities that they get to have and surround themselves with. I help people find more of those conversations that matter to them, and dig around using search filters and fun stuff like that, so much more than the profile. And really, like, I am your LinkedIn cheerleader. So I get excited when you get excited. And it is my job as a LinkedIn cheerleader to encourage you along the way. So if you need somebody like me in your life, here we are. I'm excited for it. Melanie, let people know who you are for
So,
those that don't know.
so yeah, for those that don't know who I am a career coach as well as a LinkedIn strategist. I say, people sometimes go, "What the heck's a LinkedIn strategist?" At least my friends do. They're like, "I think you made up a job title," and I'm like, "Pretty much." But no, what I like to do is teach you how to use LinkedIn beyond it being a job board. And this is a platform that, while it has amazing capabilities to help you with your career, there's so much more that you can use this for beyond just applying for jobs, and should be using it for to be able to connect and reach people so you can be seen, heard, and found basically. So I'm super excited to jump into today's conversation. Like I said, we are going to wrap up about 6:40 tonight, so a little bit earlier. And just to give a heads up too, if you're just joining us live, please make sure you drop in. Just drop in and where you're watching from. And then, of course, if you also have any questions at any time, feel free to let us know what those are. We are happy to answer them. Roy may join us from Australia. He had a late business, or it's not late, it's an early business meeting. I was like, oh, there you
Yep,
are.
it's super early for him.
It's super early. So he had an early business meeting. And so, yeah, so he is not with us right now. He may join us a little bit later. And so, yeah, so tonight we really wanted to talk about, honestly, just becoming a LinkedIn rock star. How to use this platform to grow and promote what you love. So I'm going to just kind of start with, it's not really an agenda, but it's just what I wrote in the post. So just use that as an outline. But I'm going to just ask Shell this question and we'll kind of brainstorm together. How can you showcase your unique skills and passions in a way that makes you stand out? What would be your first suggestion to somebody that is looking to use this platform, maybe doesn't, is on it, not really using it, because having a profile is one thing, but what are we going to do with the profile after it's optimized?
Yeah, well, after your profile is optimized, and hopefully it's already like in the works, whether you've optimized your profile or on your way to that, that you've at least tested or dabbled a little bit, dipped your toe in the waters of engaging. And so, if you really want to stand out and show people your uniqueness, one of the simplest ways to do that is to simply show up more. And how do you do that? You engage. Now, engagement looks like a lot of different things. So, you could take any of the things that I'm about to share and apply them. You don't have to do all of them. And you may have something else that I forget to share or don't know about that also works for you. So I just want to preface that by saying there are so many different things that engagement could be. Yeah, exactly, Americo. So that engagement is key. Like you heard about consistency being key. Well, consistency is king and engagement is queen. Okay, so uh, engagement would be how you stand out and show your uniqueness. Now, that could be in the DMs, that could be by commenting on somebody's post, that could be engaging inside a group, that could be showing up here on a live event or stream, that could be I know collaborative articles, even though they've gotten rid of the top community voice badges, are still a thing. So that could be engaging there. That could be sharing a newsletter and engaging on that. There's so many different ways to engage. It just what matters most is that you are actively doing it in some way, shape, or form, so that your audience has a chance to find you and see you. So it's not enough just to comment and like say, "Hey, great post," or commenting for reach, or congratulations on your job promotion or your new job or whatever the milestone is. You have to take it a step further. Like, what do you want to be seen having the conversation about? And think about how you can show up and where you can show up to engage and do that. So, Mel, what are your thoughts on showing your uniqueness on the platform beyond
I
an
think
optimized
you
profile?
absolutely engagement, and I think that has to be the truthfully, I think that really honestly has to be the main thing you consistently do. We could talk about creating content, because obviously different types of content's going to grab certain types of attention and things of that nature. But if you're not fully confident, really start to show up with the engagement piece. Like I always feel like if that is the easiest entry into showing up on LinkedIn, it's fine. And this is also going to help you find your people. These are going to be the people that are going to support you. These are the people that are going to then you're developing that those conversations, kind of in the wild. Um, and so, is what is really being able to truly be able to talk on the topics that you care about, the things that you are passionate about, and what you want to be known for. So I really do, of course, the engagement piece, but let's talk a little bit about content, because obviously this is a thing, and Sandra mentioned show compassion while engaging. And I absolutely agree with that as well, because, and then we'll talk a little bit about the content, because I think you have to be sensitive. Now, I'm going to put a little bit of an asterisk here, because in my world of job seekers and career coaches and recruiters, sometimes there is a little bit, and I may get in trouble for this. If I lost Shell, but she'll be back. So there she is. So is sometimes there are controversial stands on different topics that might be happening in my field in particular. So that's one of the things, that if there is a belief or something that you really do need to, you want to kind of take a stand on, just be prepared to know that, that you may get some flack, and I do. I've gotten, there's a lot of topics right now about what's happening with Meta and Facebook. They're laying off about, not to be depressing, but they're laying about 3,500 employees off, and there's a whole news report of Zuckerberg coming out saying we need to bring masculinity back into the workplace. And a lot of people create, honestly, a lot of people create content too to stir the pot, because if they know that it's a hot topic, um, and that is something that if they know it's a hot topic, they know people are going to engage with them. And so if that is not the route you want to, when you're talking about engagement, I know I'm kind of jumping all over the point, but I think it is important to know, like, being mindful of where you are engaging, because you may have to be prepared to, like, go on, because I will get some haters on the comments that I've made, such as the fact, like, there was an individual that created a post about how all these benefits of working from home or working from the office. And I was like, yes, in a perfect world, contained in that perfect world, that would be great to have collaboration. Everybody's loving working together. But the problem is we weren't having that. So this is not the perfect world. And understanding her audience is to be hired by these companies. So we're going to have clashing views, for the most part. So I think it's definitely important just to understand where you're engaging and what roads you may be going down. So let's talk about content. So yeah, we could be creating content that just wants to stir the pot. It's going to get people to comment. You could, who cares? You can definitely do that if that suits you. Um, doesn't typically suit either of us. I know Shell enough to know that that would not be what Shell would do. So, from that standpoint, but I think sharing bits and pieces of your life, if you're comfortable with that, is always a great way to connect with your audience as well. And so, in the LinkedIn 101 Becoming LinkedIn Rockstar chat, I shared a prompt about, hey, take a snapshot of your desk and share a little bit about your work area. It's a it's a simple post. You can share a little. Christy did it immediately, which was fantastic. Showed her cat, and Simpson, he's sleeping. Yeah, because we're in 19-degree weather, so he's like, he's not for this life. So I am rambling on, so I'm going to pass the mic back over to Shell, and just where what else could we talk about the content room? Let's mention the workshop as well.
Yeah. Before we get to the workshop, I want to just piggyback on what you were saying with with the content and with the engagement and the comments that you're leaving and the conversations that you're having. And I know you already mentioned that how Sandra said that, like, be compassionate in what you're saying. And I think there's, even when you take a stance on something or have an alternate point of view, or you want to be stirring the pot a little bit, you can still do it in a way that's compassionate, right? You can still do it in a way that, like, doesn't diminish what that person has already shared. So you it's and that is actually pretty fun to be like, hey, I appreciate what you're saying here. I've actually had success doing it this way. What, have you tried that? Or what are your thoughts about doing this? Or have you noticed that when people do it one way or the other, that it gets better results? Like, you can absolutely position yourself to have a differing perspective, whether that's in a comment or creating a whole new post from some based on somebody else's conversation. And so I do like the idea of being compassionate with it, but there is, like, we can still get our message across without being too nice in what we have to say. We can still create, like, a little bit of controversy there, because not everybody is going to be for us. So it's okay to draw that line in the sand of, like, hey, what they're doing actually works, but, like, this way works too.
And I think
So I,
it's,
yeah,
well, I was just going to say this also takes to the point of engagement on your post. So I don't care if you get 1,000 people commenting on your post, which obviously we know in the world of the algorithm that that's the land, that would be a wonderful thing to happen, right? Not really seeing that unless it's, you know, for various reasons. It could be a lot of reasons. But even if you get one comment on your post, engage with that person. Start the conversation. So sometimes somebody will comment like on a poll that I've done, and I do, and polls have had relative success depending on who it is. Everybody has kind of a different success rate with polls, but even if they're like, don't necessarily answer the question you pose, repose the question to them, that always have a call to action of some sort in your post that you do to create conversation. And so, America also had, a great comment earlier too about like, it's not enough to be like, great post, thank, this isn't, like, we want to be able to actually have conversations live or sort of live in the comment section. And this can happen whether it's your own post or maybe I comment on a lot of LinkedIn news articles from various sources based on the career coaching space. So I can have conversations with other individuals as well. If I have time, I may scroll through and see if anybody I know has commented, and I might respond back to one of them. Oh, I like that idea. That's interesting. I had thought about that. Um, you know, develop the conversation. That's how you're going to get people to ultimately come and check your profile out. So, and I want to shout out to Mel Richards who's watching, and she mentioned looking forward to LinkedIn Rockstar, our academy, our free workshop. I'm going to put up the QR code. I'm going to hide this comment. You have to bear with me, folks, while I'm still learning my ABCs here. But Shell, can you tell everybody while I am playing around with this, where
yeah.
what we're going to be doing tomorrow at 1 o'clock?
Yeah, thank you. So, for anybody who doesn't already know about it, tomorrow we are hosting the LinkedIn Rockstar Academy, a free workshop to talk more about, transparently. We're talking about our why we think people need to be more engaged and consistent on this platform. But even more transparently, we really want to talk more about our 6 week cohort. Let's be honest here, folks. We want to talk to people who are thinking or on the fence about how they can use LinkedIn and take our LinkedIn 101 room here to that next level and actually more proactively implement some of the things that we regularly talk about here. So that is what the workshop is for. Now, the way that we are going to be utilizing this hour long discussion is kind of like a Q&A. So it'll be like an ask me anything kind of thing, within reason, of course. Ask us anything about like the who, what, when, where, why pieces of like showing up on the platform and utilizing LinkedIn. This could be specific to you. This could be more generalized for anybody who wants to engage better and utilize LinkedIn more effectively, whether that's in the job search, whether that's to gain more clients, whether that's to become a thought leader, whether that's to get more speaking gigs, whatever the goal is on the platform. So you have an opportunity to ask us some very targeted questions about, again, the who, what, when, where, why of showing up on the platform. And what we will not be answering on purpose is the how to do it. And we're doing that because we want you to understand who, what, when, where, and why you're doing this for a reason. And if you don't know how to answer those questions for yourself, then hopefully we can help you and give you some actionable things that you can look deeper at to determine, is this 6 week cohort the best way for me to figure out how to do these things? Or can I take what I've learned here and go implement them now and action them and have success on my own doing it? And there's no right or wrong answer to that. But we are hosting that workshop tomorrow to be able to answer some of those questions for you to determine it. So yeah, that's a little bit more. Make sure you scan the QR code if you have not already registered. It is a registration only event. It will not be live here. It will be for registered attendees on Zoom.
Perfect. And we had Kelly, Chef Kelly, come up on stage or in the studio, I guess. I got to get my verbiage correct here. So I'll keep the QR code up there for a little bit longer. But Kelly, welcome. Thanks so much for joining us here.
Thank you. I'm on the phone, so I'm trying to
You're all
type
good.
and I've got a bird on my head just to make it more complicated. So thank you for having me and having this opportunity to share what you know. It's also new, especially in Australia. We have different laws, so I'm curious about the consequence of engagement in the community, communicate something, and legal ramifications on
Um,
board
can you ask that
platform.
question ask that question again? I just want to make sure. I think I got I think I understood it. So I'm intercommunicating with me just in regards to laws on
Question.
the internet. Okay.
Yeah, because I'm new, so I don't want to be communicating incorrectly on a global platform, but I've got to be aware of the local laws, and I don't know how LinkedIn facilitates that in a protective manner to safeguard you from creating something that might be considered offensive. Because even I engaged with a site yesterday, and it was about the Palestinian people, and I just quoted some historic data, and they asked me not to come back. And I didn't want to offend them, but I didn't also want to agitate either. So I'm mindful of the community and different everything globally, but I want to be able to communicate properly, and I'm using LinkedIn to do that. So I'm guessing, do you have any guidelines or suggestions that I can take on board when I try to communicate more effectively?
Yeah, Shell, do you want to start off? Do you have some thoughts on that, or
Yeah, I I would, and I don't think this um, will impact you legally. Um, Overall, I think a good practice is, I don't want to go back to the word compassion, but like just be mindful of who it is that you're having that conversation with in the moment. Yes, you may be quoting data, like actual facts that you have reference to in front of you. Um,
Yeah,
not being mindful of your audience, like not everybody will have access to that data or know that. And depending on how the manner in which you shared that information, which I don't know right now, I'm just going by based on what you've shared with us.
yeah,
Um, People tend to be very emotional in their
yeah,
responses and can be reactive rather than welcoming. of that information. So I would encourage you to be very mindful, and I believe that you are and can, are already doing this in your conversations. But also, if you're not sure how that information, or if somebody's open to receiving or hearing it, you can ask, are you
Mm.
open to me sharing? That, just asking that simple question, are you open, are you just here to have the conversation, or are you actually open to listening, hearing
Yes.
other perspectives? Are you open to feedback? Like, ask them specifically based on what it is that the conversation's about, and let people
Yes.
tell you, I'm open to hearing other points of view.
Great. Thank
Yeah, and I
you.
think when you get into the legality of things, like I know you're also a nutritionist and things like that, and kind of taking a different perspective. This with always knowing the audience that you're talking to, private group, is this, where is it being shown, and then asking yourself, and I think this goes for everybody, because there are a lot of topics right now. We obviously know this. There's a lot of hot topics around the world. We're not going to get into them today. A lot of people, even in your own families, have very differing points of view. To the point that you can't even have a conversation with your own family about these topics. So I think you just have to ask yourself, like, is this a safe space, even for myself? Not necessarily even for your audience, but is this a safe space for me? Is this
Yes.
like mentioning? I'm always so. I was talking earlier that when I choose to engage on a certain topic, I am very confident with my response and how I choose to, like, if I'm gonna, and sometimes I will have, like, I'll create a response and then I will decide at the last minute, no, I'm not going to get into this pond right now, so to speak, because
Yeah.
I don't want to have to deal with the haters and just the constant back and forth. And so I'll make a conscious decision not
Yes.
to participate in the conversation. I have various personal, for the most part, I have personal, rules that I don't typically comment. Like, for example, I don't really post like a whole lot about politics. A lot
Sure.
of people, and I do that for a very specific reason. And especially, like, I'll use an example. Definitely, I don't never do it on I never do it on LinkedIn. It's just not part of. Truthfully, I know it sounds kind of silly, but it's not part of my brand. I think it would be
Sure.
very, unless it was just something like I felt like was compelled to have that conversation. But I don't even do that on Facebook with my friends or my family. Um, and again, I have very specific reasons why I choose not to. And
Mm.
and so I always am very conscious of, like, who am I speaking with? Like Shell mentioned, is this a safe space for me? I'd like to think that we could live in a world where well, we used to live in a world where we could maybe share opinions and have an impact on that other person. I don't know that that's the world we're in right now,
Yeah.
but um, but yeah, I think from a legality standpoint, of course, Shell and I are, we're not trained in this from a legal standpoint. It's just being
No.
very mindful and making that decision for yourself. Is this something, by commenting, you do open the door for people to respond negatively to you or harshly to you. And it can be rough. I mean, there's times that, like, people have responded. There was a response that I don't even remember what it was. It was some poll. I mean, it was literally a poll or something. And I mean, Shell came to my defense because he literally was like, criticizing me as a recruiter, having been a recruiter, and, like, I don't know, it was just some off base thing. And it was
Mm.
literally like, where is this coming? Like, dude, you don't
Yeah.
even know me. Like, oh, he
Yeah.
questioned my authority having been a recruiter, and but it was very rude. It was very
Hurt.
aggressive, and it was out of the blue because it
Yeah.
wasn't, so when you do create content, whether it's about a cat or whether it's about a hot topic, you potentially open the door for people to criticize you.
Sure. And I guess that's part of the thing with food. As you said, people get emotional about politics and religion and other things, but food, I've found the discussion has taken me to chronic pain and medication. So politics and legislation has become very important. So I've had to introduce that conversation, which looks a bit weird on a chef's profile, but because that's part of the curiosity, the food mood, and cost of food choices, I guess, is
Well, and there's, yeah, and again, I mean,
hey,
it's amazing, a lot of people sometimes just don't necessarily want to hear,
no,
the truth, like facts. And and then again, like here in the, for those that don't know, the FDA in the United States,
yeah,
they removing red dye, which is a good thing. I mean, I believe it's a good thing. Um,
yeah,
and but and a lot of people have opinions on that. So,
exactly, yeah,
but again, it's one of those things. I feel like if you are an expert in the area that you're speaking in, then
Mm.
you have the ability and the right to have that conversation. And legally, there is no like governing, you know, unless somebody just, I mean, unless it went down a massive rabbit hole. I
oh, no,
can't see it being a massive legal issue.
yeah, yeah, no, I really just want to help. I'm involved with the community, so I'm trying to engage on both the upper level and the community level to create change and just start topics of conversation and do it on a global level. Because if you can do it at home, you can do it abroad. But I love what you
Exactly.
guys are doing. Tell me more what's new with the Restream and the LinkedIn with what you're doing specifically.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that next, and I want to get to, I'm going to answer, we're going to answer a question that Sandra had. I don't know if you saw that question, Shell.
I did.
So if you
Thank
want to go ahead and answer that, then we will answer Kelly's question next about how our little world of Restream and LinkedIn 101 is going.
Yeah. So if you look back in the chat a little bit ago, Sandra asked, "Isn't commenting for better reach showing your support and spreading the word to your community for others to see?" Uh, yes. Hey Roy. So I like that the intention behind commenting for better reach. I know why you're doing it. I understand that you're doing it to help your whoever, the visibility of that post so that they can reach a wider audience. However, I'm not saying that this is bad, but I do think that you can take it to another level. I do think that there's a little bit more that you could do to make sure that it gets in front of the right people or to more people to get the right visibility. And who am I to say what the right visibility is? Except that the right visibility is who you want it to reach. The right visibility will differ for everybody's audience and based on who they want to get that information in front of. So, what I would ask you instead of just commenting for better reach is to think about, do I know anybody specifically who could add to this conversation or who would benefit from this post or conversation? And could I tag them or share this post with them to bring them into that conversation? And that may be a better use of commenting for reach by bringing them into the conversation that you know is going to benefit them or benefit the post or benefit someone else that needs to see it in some way. So that's my thoughts on your question, Sandra. I hope you find that helpful. So you're not wrong. I just think that, and I understand the intention of it, and I think that's great. I just think that there's more that we can do to get better quality conversations.
Perfect. Roy, how's everything down in Australia?
Yeah, it's Friday, as you know. It's actually raining at the moment, so I'm not on the beach today. So that's the reason that I've got a shirt on.
Well, we appreciate that. So, thank you. So, yeah, definitely. Well, Roy, introduce yourself really quickly to everybody. We are going to wrap up. Michelle's a little bit under the weather, and since we have LinkedIn Rockstar workshop tomorrow, I need her to be 100% healthy and all spot on. So we're gonna wrap up in about like 10 minutes or so. But introduce yourself, and we were just honestly just having a conversation about how to like stand out on LinkedIn. What are the ways to do that, and everything of that nature.
Okay, well, that's an easy thing to do. My name is Roy Kowalski, and now that we've got videos going, you can see what I look like. You can see my expressions. You can see why I enjoy what I'm doing. So I call myself a promotional product disruptor. You know, because what it is, it shows that I actually disrupt the market. With what I do. To achieve to get conversations. Where the back is coming from?
All right. You're going in and out, so we were losing you there.
Is that better?
That's better, right there.
So I suppose if I can maybe just put a little summary out around, standing out on LinkedIn. The first thing that I want to particularly is
oh, we're losing you.
Okay, let's
So Kelly had a question for us. How's things going on Restream and with our LinkedIn 101? So,
well, right now, as we can tell, Roy's audio is being more disruptive than how he helps people disrupt with their promotional products. So hopefully we'll be able to hear from him a little bit more. But so far, I think we're doing well with this live audience view. I think it gets people a little bit more interactive. It gives people the opportunity to see us instead of just hiding behind the audio, and we can engage with you in a little bit of a different way than we were before, having just been audio. Now we're still navigating, I think, the ins and outs of like the chat and turning banners on and off, and just like the usual tech stuff. But like we're still here, and I think that this way feels pretty good. And I think the horizontal view is better for us too, because now people watching on their phones can actively see the chat instead of having to go back and forth with it below the video. So I think it's helping us a little bit. Yeah.
So Simana's in the audience, and she mentioned that she is on the fence with this new format. I am still on the fence as well. We've been doing LinkedIn Mastery. We moved that over to Clubhouse. Career Coaches on Call, we moved to Clubhouse. And truthfully, I was talking in our Career Coaches on Call room the other day that when it comes to the LinkedIn experience, I had a hard time making a decision because I literally was like, there's bonuses here, there's bonuses here, there's bonuses here, there's negatives here. I did not feel that there was a strong winner one way or the other. And while I do like having some of these features of that we can be able to share, and like when you do like LinkedIn profile views and being able to but again, I'm gonna if I have to look at it, one of the things is being able to kind of be more functional. I could do a couple of different things, and then being able just to kind of respond to people and more of like a real-time effort. So there's a lot of things. I am on the fence that we'll probably evaluate things come the end of the month and things like that, just to kind of see. So yeah. So how's it been for you so far, Roy?
Yeah, I think, if I can say, I've done a couple of these with the Restream. There's pros and cons to everything in life. So you either deal with
Oh, you're breaking up.
okay.
But yeah, there are definitely pros and I mean, we have to kind of and so I will say to Samana's question, I will say Americo is definitely he's definitely navigating this really well. He's I think probably doing it the best of what I've seen. I will say definitely not more listeners or viewers. Numbers have dropped. Numbers have dropped across the board for both for all of my rooms across the board, and which I mean I don't want to seem ungrateful for because that's the thing that I appreciate. We appreciate everybody showing up. We absolutely do. We love everybody, but our goal is also to reach as many people as possible. So we have to be mindful of that and how we do that. So yeah, it's a learning experience, and so we'll see what happens. But I want to wrap up really quickly because I want to keep this respectful of time, and also, like I said, Shell isn't feeling 100%, so want to, and so I'm going to put it on her. Hey, Shell, can you close us out for the night and tell everybody where they can find us tomorrow?
Yeah. Can you put yeah, there you go. So yeah, you may have noticed me going off camera a few times so that I can blow my nose without uh, having you subjected to that this evening. So thank you for bearing with me on that. Um, I hope to be back in my usual action tomorrow. Um, Tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern, we will be hosting a free workshop for the LinkedIn Rockstar Academy so that we can talk more about the ins and outs of who, what, when, where, why you should be more proactive on the platform, so that you can determine how it is that you are going to use it. If you have not already used the QR code or gone to the event page to register, please make sure to do so. We've had a bunch of people say that they are interested in attending the event, but they have not actually gone ahead and registered yet. So I will make sure to reach out to those people. But just your reminder here, you can scan the QR code and go do that pretty easily. And that's where we'll be tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern. And as far as Restream is concerned, yeah, we will again be taking next week off. But the following week, we will be back in action and live right here with you. So make sure to share your questions, your comments, your concerns, and if you want to keep coming back and know other people who would want to be here too, then please make sure to share it with them. I really like that
Perfect.
there's replays available now, so I'm here
That
for
is
that.
That is a bonus. So catch the replay. If you do catch it, just make a comment that you saw it on the replay. That would be really helpful. And yeah, that's tonight's room. And so definitely appreciate Roy. We missed you today. Drive safe. And everybody else, have a great Friday tomorrow. Roy, tomorrow's Saturday. So hopefully the sun will be back out. I know you're not missing my 19-degree weather in Baltimore. So Roy's like, see you later, girl. So on that note, Shell, drink your tea, get better, because I need you at 1 o'clock. I'm gonna be selfish.
See you guys
And
tomorrow.
we'll see everybody tomorrow. Bye.